Walleye, bluegill, crappie, and other game fish are highly sensitive to noises in the underwater world around them. Up next, Jon offers sound advice on using a fish's sense of hearing to lure it in and make it strike.
There he is, got him. Boy, that guy just railed up and nailed it. Look at that. Look at that little walleye. He come in here and smoked it. He's actually the perfect dinner size fish, but I think we're going to catch plenty of fish today, so I think we'll let him go. But I'll tell you what, this is one of those situations where we're in a kind of a late morning, mid-afternoon deal. There he goes. And what we're trying to do right now is get fish to come to us, get fish to eat. And I think one of the best ways you can do that is to use lures that make noise. Now, when I think about noise, I think there's a whole bunch of different noises that you can make. And a lot of them are bad. You know, driving a truck past a fish house up and down drives me crazy sometimes, you know, or any of those auger noises right during prime time. I think a lot of times those noises can really hurt. But what I look at when I think about positive noises are the noises that minnows make when they take off. When they're swimming around, when they're flashing, when they're trying to get away from walleyes that are feeding or pike or any other game fish, they're making a noise when they dart off. And what we're trying to do with good noises is emulate what that noise is to try to bring fish into us. And there's a lot of different noises. There's low pitch noises, there's higher pitch noises, there's loud ones, and there's really subtle ones. But that's what today's show is going to be all about, is talking about how do we get noise to work in a positive manner for us on the ice. Because I'll tell you what, once you get it figured out, on any given day, it can make such a huge difference, and you can catch a ton of fish by paying attention to the noise you're making. Let's get back down there, because I think there's a pile of fish just starting to roam into here. Let's get this thing baited up. A lot of times, you get that first one like that, and he didn't come in here alone. He's either in the neighborhood with a bunch of other fish, or he came railing in here with a couple buddies. So when I catch a fish like that, I like to get down again as quick as I can, because I tend to believe that there's going to be another bite, and it's not far behind. It's not going to be a one at a time type deal. So get back down there as quick as you can. A lot of times you can really maximize on it, because that noise we're making has pulled these fish into us, and now there's going to be more than one here most of the time. Oh, there he is. Ooh, that feels like a better fish too. Oh yeah, that is a better fish. You know, you catch enough of those mid-sized, smaller fish, and you get a fish like this on it, you can tell the difference really quick. And this guy, he just came railing in and hit it. I never even saw him on the sonar. You know, that's one of the neat things about fishing a bait like this. We were talking about it earlier, is just the ability. Boy, this is a good walleye. If it's a walleye, I wonder if it's a pike. Just feels like a good fish, but it's that ability to have fish come in and attack. And you don't get that with all baits. Subtle baits don't necessarily do that for you. But baits like this, oh yeah, that is a walleye. Turn, buddy. There he is. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's a really good fish. Look at that walleye right there. Holy smokes. I'll tell you, when a fish like this comes in and attacks, they attack hard. Let me get this thing unhooked, and I'm going to show them to you here before we let them go. What a great fish that is right there. That's exactly what we're here to catch today. And you know, fish like this one right here, he knows how to do one thing at this time of the year, and that is eat. And he's eating aggressive baits. That's a dynamite walleye. We're going to let him go real quick. Then I'm going to show you what we're using, because I'll tell you what, it just makes a huge difference having the right bait down there when fish like this are on the prowl. There he goes. Man, that's just awesome right there. Let me show you what this bait is, because this is brand new. And I'll tell you what, this is just one of those baits that I just knew the first time I saw it, it was just going to catch a whole pile of fish. This is called the Wally Talker. It's a brand new one from Lindy. And here's what's so great about this thing. You know, the Perch Talker came out a couple of years ago, and it's just caught perch like crazy. And here's one of the things we found out. It caught walleyes too. But there's a couple things we wanted to change and make a little bit better before we built what we wanted to call the Wally Talker. And what that is we still have those brass discs, so we're still displacing water. But then what we did is we went to glass beads, and then we've got a brass weight in the middle. What that makes it do is fall sideways, so it looks like a dying bait fish. But these glass beads give you that holographic look. You can kind of see through, so you can really see the color, and it really looks natural to them down there. But here's the biggest thing. These glass beads give off a different pitch. And we really looked at it and said, what do walleyes like to hear? And as we tested all these different things, we found out that these glass beads, they just give off this little ticking sound, and these walleyes are so attracted to it, and they hit it so aggressively. And what's really neat about this bait is it's giving off all that flash, all that water displacement, and the correct sound. Now, it comes in two different sizes. This is the smaller size that I'm using here today. Here's another one right here. This is the larger size. Now, don't be afraid to go to a larger size in a bait like this, because what you get is a little bit more noise. Now, I'm going to use this size when I'm out in a little bit deeper water, or when the fish are even a little bit more aggressive. And I'm going to use that smaller size when they're maybe a little bit off, I'm in that shallower water, or when I'm in a little bit clearer water. If I'm in dirty water, I'm going to usually go to this bigger size. But I'll tell you what, this new Wally Talker is one of the neatest baits I've seen in a long, long time. It's just a fish catcher. So make sure you got some of these in your box this year. I mean, it does everything walleyes like, and it just catches them, and that's what we need, right? We just need to be able to have a bait that we can put down there that attracts them, gets them to us, and then makes them strike, and that's what this thing does for you. Let's get this thing baited back up, get back down there. Another one of the things I take into consideration when I'm picking what I'm going to use for a rattle, or how I'm going to make noise when I'm fishing with that lure, is the area I'm fishing. Now, the location I'm sitting on today is actually just off of a rock pile. Right up behind me here, there's a feeding shelf, and that's all rocks. It's kind of, boulders about that big. And here's the thing about it. These fish, they're going to show up here periodically all day long to eat, but they're really going to get here in those prime time areas, early morning, evening. But we're sitting here mid-afternoon right now. What we've done is just slid out just a little bit off the edge. Here's what happens. When I'm sitting where I'm sitting right now, I know I'm going to need to make some noise, because these fish aren't necessarily right up there along that perfect edge feeding and running back and forth. What they're doing right now is meandering around out here. They're still eating. Fish know how to do two things. They spawn and they eat. Well, what these fish are doing right now is they're just meandering around out here off the edge of this rock pile. They're resting. They're grabbing something to eat if it looks really, really easy. So one of the things I do is I always use a bait that's going to make noise when I'm out off this edge, because I want to get fish to move. I want to get them to come to me. If I don't do something to attract them, there's a doggone good chance that they're not going to move underneath my spot all day long. They might be 10 feet that way or 10 feet that way, especially if you're in dirty water, because they can't see as well. Boy, this fish has been down here looking at it. He came in hot. And I thought sure he was going to hit it right away, and I went down and just banged bottom with it. Let's try going way up above him. Oh, there he is, right there. As soon as I lifted up, just maybe 6 extra inches, all of a sudden he finally did hit it. Oh yeah, he feels like a pretty good one too. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. That is a dynamite walleye right there. That's a great way to wrap up the day. I'll tell you what. You go out and you do what we've been doing today. Use noise to your advantage. We've sat out here during a time of the day that's not really considered prime time, but we've just banged around and made noise with that Wally Talker, and we've brought fish in pretty consistently all day. And one thing I'll tell you that really tells me how much a fish loves a bait is when we get fish to come into noise like that, and we use that noise to our advantage. A lot of times, if the fish aren't totally turned on to that bait, what'll happen is they'll grab that bobber rod. Today, I haven't had many fish on that bobber rod. When they've come in, they've eaten that Wally Talker, and they've ate it time and time again. And I'll tell you what, that's just a lot of fun, because we're catching fish that most guys aren't catching right now. We're catching fish right in the middle of the day. It's a great way to wrap it up. Get out on the ice. Use noise to your advantage. If you do that, you're going to catch more fish all day long. That's a great way to finish a day.